Welcome to Nonprofit Nation, the series that highlights the meaningful work nonprofits are doing to strengthen our community. In each episode, we speak with leaders, volunteers, and advocates addressing real-world changes and creating impactful solutions. Join us as we explore their stories, the obstacles they face, and the measurable change they bring to people and causes they serve. All right, and welcome back to Nonprofit Nation. I'm your host, Amanda Pierce, excited to share with you today some knowledge about partnership against domestic violence, joined here by the president and CEO, Katha Blackwell. Give our listeners an idea, the depth and breadth about the organization, because they might not be familiar with the details.
Absolutely. So Partnership Against Domestic Violence is the first and largest domestic violence agency in the state of Georgia. And so we have been around since 1975. Next year, we'll be celebrating our 50th anniversary. Exciting time, very exciting. We provide emergency shelter for those who are fleeing domestic violence. And so in Gwinnett County and in Fulton County, we have 2 emergency shelters. We also provide legal advocacy services for those who are in need of getting temporary protection orders. So if you have an abuser who won't leave you alone, we have legal advocates that will assist you in getting a temporary protection order to set those boundaries in place. We also provide free counseling services to all survivors, no matter whether they're in our programs, if they're in the state of Georgia and they're seeking to talk with a counselor for free about what they're going through, we provide those services as well. Also, we have a community outreach team that goes out and teaches the next generation about dating violence.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
To stop it before it starts,
Absolutely.
Stop the cycle.
Yes. And so they're part of our prevention and outreach department because we know that in order to bring those numbers down with domestic violence, we have to educate people about domestic violence so they're aware of those different things. And so we go out to middle schools, high schools, and colleges and educate the next generation about dating violence so they can understand the yellow flags, red flags. A lot of times the younger generation may see text messages that are like 50 text messages in one day thinking, oh, that's love. It's like, no, this is not, this is not love.
Bombing.
Exactly. And so we want to make sure we're educating them about those red flags before they become adults, become full-fledged adults. And so that's the important work that we do. I'm trying to think about the other thing. The other thing that is very important is we have housing services. So we partner with around 99 landlords and property owners each year. And we make sure that our clients have somewhere to go into their own place, whether it's an apartment or a house. We pay the majority of their rent, and they pay 30% of their rent. And so we make sure that our clients have somewhere to go after they leave us. That's our hope. For those who are ready to get into their own place, we collaborate with property owners and landlords to make sure our clients have their own place to go into.
So kind of stepping back, because you mentioned a few things, and I want to get into each one of those because I think they're tremendously valuable, especially for those listening that might not have access to resources. So you mentioned 2 emergency shelters. Mm-hmm. What would constitute you accepting someone, or how could someone connect with you if they were in need of emergency shelter?
Absolutely. So if they were to go to our website, which is at padv.org, we have a crisis line number on there, which is 404-873-1766. They could call our crisis line to get access to those services. We do a brief intake over the phone, and we also try to make sure we have space and capacity for whatever the size of the family is. And they can also reach out to us through our info box. We have an email account where you can email us at info@padv.org, because we realize that a lot of people aren't calling as they used to, and they'll send messages to us on social media or they'll message us via email. And so they have options in order to reach out to us. But that's the initial step to get engaged if they need shelter. And also a lot of our community partners, like the police departments, the local schools, a lot of them know about us already. And so they'll probably get information about us from them as well.
So there are 2 physical locations here in Gwinnett County that people could connect with you about.
Mm-hmm. There's one in Gwinnett County and one in Fulton County.
One in Fulton. Yep. Perfect. Mm-hmm. You mentioned having legal advocates and resources. That's tremendous. Talk a little bit more about who you partner with on that side, who is involved, and how you can provide your clients essentially with those resources.
Absolutely. So we partner with the Gwinnett County Jail. the sheriff's office, the judge magistrates, solicitor generals, and the district attorney to make sure that we have what we need in order to collaborate with those survivors. And so we have legal advocates right on site at both locations, the Fulton County Courthouse as well as the Gwinnett County Jail, navigating and helping survivors get the temporary protection orders that they need, as well as just helping them process everything. It can be very daunting for a survivor to go before a judge and explain what they've been through. And so our advocates are there to help them, breathe for a moment, process everything, and just try to share their story in a clear manner. And so we partner with both district attorneys in both counties, both solicitor generals in both counties, of course, the police departments and the sheriff's office. So we try to make sure we have a positive relationship with all of those entities because we cannot do this work alone.
Without them, yes. Oh, and thank you to all of those people who provide services in your world. You mentioned also assistance with housing. Again, another step in the prevention. So while they are able to take aid in one of your facilities temporarily, you want to help them find resources and prepare them for success when they part ways.
Absolutely.
So share with us what that looks like.
So for our survivors who are ready to move forward with their lives, and not all survivors are, when they come to us, they are, trying to process their relationship. Sometimes this may have been the first incident of violence in their relationship. And so they're not quite sure whether or not they want to move forward, or they're trying to process whether or not they're going to go back. Statistically, survivors leave and go back 7 to 8 times before they're gone for good. And so for those survivors who have made up in their mind, I'm ready to move forward with my life, I don't want to go back, we connect them to our housing opportunities. And so for those survivors that may not have a good credit background, or some of them haven't been working, some of them have some form of criminal background, maybe depending on what it is, we partner with landlords and make sure that it's a win-win-win, 3-way win situation, because we know with our property owners and landlords, they just want to make sure that the rent gets paid. They have their own business. They're trying to move forward with their lives and different things of that sort. And so we approach our landlords in that space of, at the end of the day, this rent is going to get paid every month. We do security deposits, first month's rent, any additional fees that come in at the forefront of getting that client placed into their own place. And then we also have a partnership with other nonprofits that provide furniture. And so we pay for their furniture, pay for their whole apartment to get furnished, their whole home to get furnished, and get them situated and moved in with dishes and everything that they may possibly need to get settled into that new place. And so our property owners and landlords really help us just to move forward and make sure that they overlook all the things, overlook the credit, overlook all those things, because at the end of the day, this rent is going to get paid regardless. I love that. I saw the smile on your face, and I too was warmed in the heart, because it's that transformation of that temporary transient, living into a home setting. Yes.
Something that they can be proud of and also be set up for success. Now, this all requires resources.
Yes,
and you guys are a nonprofit organization. So how can people help you guys? How can people partner with you? You mentioned furniture, and also outline the types of people that you help, because I know some organizations are specific to women and children, or, what does that look like?
Absolutely. So at PADV, we actually help everyone. We help single women, we help single men, we help single mothers, single fathers. Anyone who is fleeing domestic violence, we assist them. And so no matter how they come to us, however the dynamic or design of their family is, we help them. And so there are a lot of times where you'll have agencies that don't help families that have teen boys or teenagers. We don't, age is not a problem for us. Good. We accept them the way that they are. Since we're a nonprofit, we have to do a lot of fundraising. And so we get our funding from the federal government, but also through foundations. We also have sponsorship opportunities at all of our events. Next year, since we're celebrating our 50th anniversary, we have like 6 fun events that are going to be taking place all next year. And so we welcome people to sponsor us. People can also donate online directly. They can do anonymous donations, or they can also donate in-kind donations. We always are accepting, gently used clothing, brand new diapers, wipes, all those different things. We welcome all of those donations. There's no way we can function without the support of the community. And so those donations and everything that comes in financially is what helps us sustain the ability to feed our clients, to clothe them, to get them to their next place in life.
Beautiful. And then lastly, if you could expand on the education piece, because that was really just, wow. The fact that you're going in, I guess, to all types of youth settings and you're helping teach, I say youngsters, because how old are kids when they date these days? They shouldn't be dating until they're teenagers, but
Right. Yeah.
helping kind of set a pathway for them. Talk more about the education for the youth.
Absolutely. So we have a community outreach team that specifically focuses in on educating the next generation about dating violence. And so we go to middle schools, high schools, and colleges. We go to UGA, we go to Georgia Tech, Spelman, and we educate the next generation about dating violence. So that way they're made aware of the red flags of abuse. A lot of times they're not familiar with what's healthy and what's not healthy, especially when you look at television and social media nowadays. There's not a lot of positive examples of a healthy relationship. And so if they didn't grow up with that, there's no real example of what a healthy relationship looks like. And so our goal is to continuously go into the schools, and anyone who wants us to come and speak to share information about this, we welcome that. So there'll be schools that'll reach out to us throughout the year, and we'll come in person and facilitate an entire day if need be, or a workshop specifically focused in on dating violence. So we welcome any opportunity to do that work. And during that time, we give them pamphlets, we give them safety plans. And it's also, every year we do a Teen Summit, which takes place in February, which is Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. And at Teen Summit this year, actually, we're going to be at Gas South Arena. At Teen Summit, we have an array of workshops. We feed the kids, but we teach them about the dynamics of what a healthy relationship looks like. And so it's on both ends of the spectrum. We're also educating people who could be potential victims, but also potential abusers in the room, and let them know, like, no one wants to go down this path. These are the things you need to be aware of in yourself, as well as if you're dating someone who's showing these type of signs.
You know, it's so important because the composition of families looks so different than when you and I grew up in the 80s, as we both discovered. And it's untraditional. So therefore, people don't have the example of a mother and father who both work, and, you know, the whole big TV image. It's far different. So the education piece really stands out to me. I tip my hat to you and your organization for kind of going in and identifying that need.
Thank you.
If someone wanted to get involved on that side, or if someone wanted to partner with you and have you speak to their youngsters, how could they?
Absolutely. They can actually go to our website, and on our website, we have an outreach button where people can actually request a speaker. And so they can request a speaker and let us know what date, what time, what are they looking for, and we'll have our team follow up with them, and then we'll come on site to them.
Well, I'm excited about your events here, and give us just a little teaser about a few things going on.
So there's a couple of things that are new. I'll give you the new details. We have a clinical mental health clinic that's taking place for those who are licensed clinicians to learn more about domestic violence and mental health. And so they can get their CEUs at that event that's taking place in April. That's on April 4th. And then we also have a birthday bash coming up where it's going to be just family-friendly outdoor experience where we have bouncy houses and just an array of different things taking place just for fun and just commemorating our 50th anniversary. And then we also have a Legacy of Hope dinner that's taking place where we'll bring back previous CEOs, previous board members, previous clients and staff members, and just take a moment to go down memory lane of the 5 decades we've been doing this work. One of our founders is still alive and well, and I was just talking to her like a couple of months ago about how she's doing and everything, and she's still a powerhouse. This organization started with one bed and one crisis line, and so she did a trailblazer. You know, she was a trailblazer in this community and in this state to even start that work. And so we're going to bring her back as well, hopefully, to have her come and have a panel discussion and just really celebrate all the work we've been doing over these past 50 years.
You said it's so like lickety split. Okay, one crisis, one line. But let's think about that, because that's how this whole organization, who has served, how many people have you served, if you were to guess, in 50 years? Probably thousands and thousands, maybe thousands.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it all started with one woman who answered one call and addressed one crisis. And now look where you guys are today,
Exactly.
50 years later.
Such a bold step.
Kathy Blackwell with Partnership Against Domestic Violence. And you mentioned an info number and then email address.
Absolutely. So if you want to get in touch with PADV, you can call us at 404-873-1766. And you can also email us at our info box at info@padv.org. If you ever need any information or trying to reach out to us, whether it be through donation, whether it be you want us to come out and speak, there's an array of information that you can get from either calling our crisis line or sending us an email. And if you want to really connect with me directly, you can call me at 404-870-9761. That's my work number, and I would love to hear from you.
And stay connected with them online so you can follow along with all the great events that Katha mentioned and see how you can support and be a proponent for the cause. Special thanks to our partners at Commercial Capital Limited for supporting the Nonprofit Nation podcast series. Commercial Capital Limited is your one-stop shop for commercial financing needs. Visit commercialcapitalltd.com to learn more about the types of programs and loans that they fund, types of properties they finance, and the documents needed to underwrite and process a loan in under 48 hours. Contact the experts at 770-908-1672 or email the team info@commercialcapitalltd.com.